hey guys, glad you're here. 1 second. And now that's happily ever after. I'm such a sucker for happy endings. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a pickle. As a self-described a la carte Catholic gamer, a statement that should upset Christians and atheists alike, I need a game to play for Easter, but Pope Simulator isn't set to release for sometime in the future. But I need something like a demo, something unpolished, something that was probably released just as a proof of concept, something that'll make my friends laugh with me as I stream it for them and then forget to record their commentary. But is there even a game like that out there? Hey God, please don't send me to hell. I just want to make people laugh. Every Christian's favorite zombie, Jesus Christ, stars as the protagonist in this game. Before the game even starts, we get a warning that it'll be filled with problems. This is fine, I'm sure Jesus will heal them. Hilariously, when you do go to start the game, there's a story mode for the game about Jesus, from the most famous book of all time. But I'm no noob, so I picked the gameplay option. The game starts with some scripture I didn't listen to because over 20 years of church has conditioned me to stop listening whenever scripture starts. Then it moves on to a really well animated cutscene as the voice is drone on and on without subtitles because that wasn't an option for some reason. And sadly, that's one of the few nice things I can say about this game. I'm psyched dinosaurs showed up though. When I was in high school, I had religious education on Wednesday nights, and when I asked my teacher where the dinosaurs were in the Bible, he didn't have an answer for me. We opened probably 9 months before Jesus' birth, where a non-biblically accurate angel shows up. Let me see if I can fix that. Much better. From there we see Jesus in his manger, and then we skip his entire childhood and move on to 30 years later where we learn that Jesus and I have much in common. We both lived with our parents for way too long and are relegated to sleeping in a corner with no mattress. Jesus hallucinates that it's finally time to get a move on with the whole saving mankind thing and gets out of bed. At first it plays like a normal RPG. It has a compass, a quest log, Jesus can jump, stand on things he shouldn't, and randomly talk to residents in historically accurate English. Nazareth is actually pretty nice looking, which is good since Jesus' first quest is to talk to Mary, so she can send Jesus to talk to someone else, so they can bring Jesus to someone who can tell Jesus where someone who might know where John the Baptist is. Love me some Nazareth lemons that are brighter than the sun. In the market, Jesus has another bout of hallucinations as words materialize in front of him in a way that would kill an epileptic. But Jesus did earn a Bible verse, so worth it. In the market, Jesus learned that this town might have a limited gene pool as there are 3 identical models right within eyeshot, and that's when he decides to leave Nazareth forever. While on the subject of models, it seems only prominent figures get to be fully voiced. But everyone's face looks like they were painted on, their mouths resemble boughs on the wall way too much. Some more RPG elements pop up on the way to see old Johnny Baptist, like eating berries to restore Jesus' stamina? Health? A bar of sorts. The game doesn't explain it. Jesus stopped to collect a bunch of berries for use in his travels, which was a huge mistake as the game took them away in the next chapter. But that's the least of its problems, as John's students turn so fast, it's actually kinda scary. But after that, Jesus got to meet Jono. Right after he checked out the water physics. There weren't any water physics, no splashing sounds or water displacement, but that was when Jesus finally caught sight of him. More like John the Baptist. Look at those meaty arms that are about to dunk Jesus in the river to baptize him. Just ignore the face. After some religious waterboarding, Jesus gains another ability, prayer to gain spirit, which feels like mana, but it's infinite as anytime Jesus runs low, he can pray and get more. The audience is then treated to another nice cutscene where John the Baptist does not look like an eldritch monstrosity. Then it's time to head into the desert. If you're hoping for some nice Gerudo Desert as soundtrack, well, prepare to be disappointed. The lame soundtrack is just another strike against the game. But get this, I guess the desert is on Tatooine because Jesus learns how to use the Force. The parallels to Anakin are unnerving. Jesus learns Force Push and Force Pull by heading into rings in the desert that are increasingly farther away and shine way too bright. One of my friends who was watching asked me to have Jesus enter one backwards because the light was hurting her eyes, which didn't help because the moment I passed the ring, it was front and center again. Then Jesus gets to meet Satan, who is depicted as a ball of fire. And imagine being told you sound evil enough to play Satan. Satan packs all 40 days of temptation into a 2-minute pitch, and somehow that's less convincing. Satan proves himself to be a slightly worse than average job recruiter as he attacks when Jesus denies working for him. Jesus gets to fight Satan, and because I'm bad at games, Jesus loses. Sorry guys, we were thrust into this age of darkness because of me. Thankfully, I already knew the ending, and Jesus gets back up for round 2. Using the Force, Jesus defeats Satan, who says some generic bad guy dialogue claimed he'll be back, creating the gravest rivalry until Link and Ganondorf. Furthering the parallel, much like Ganondorf, Satan spread evil through the land using dark crystals. I mean, all he really did was make it monochromatic. It's not a big deal, just gives the colorblind a fair chance. By left-clicking a single time, Jesus can destroy the dark crystals and claim the area in the name of God. This is a big deal though because it unlocks a new power, Force Spawn, which is something Jedi can't do. I assume. There's like 100 Force powers here and I'm not going to read them all. But seriously, Jesus could take this thing to cash for gold and get a big payout. Anyway, Jesus has some trouble using these abilities, because I have some trouble using these abilities. The good news is he only has to use them right one time to move on. After walking over 100 meters, because the game likes to start Jesus far away from his goals, he meets Simon and Andrew. He promises to show them how to become fishers of men, which, I'm sorry Jesus, is really creepy out of context. You're not established to these guys, you just randomly walked up. I would whip out the mace. However, Jesus manages to convince them by using the horribly controlled animal friendship force perk to help these boys catch lots of fish after being failures all day. This probably devastated the lake's ecosystem as this was a significant amount of fish that were needed for repopulation. You ever hear of overfishing? But the cool thing is we get to see Jesus' power wheel, which I assume will fill up as the game progresses. And the boat has a health bar, so I'm assuming it's the same boat that Jesus stands on to calm the storm. That's just a guess though. I'm no prophet. I should probably cut that line. Maybe I'll keep it in. It's the water to wine story next to 4 more dark crystals, but Jesus just walks past these without cleansing and claiming the land, so I guess this land is forsaken. Before we can go to the party though, we got target practice. Please no one ever let Jesus or me do archery. We're really bad at hitting our targets. But somehow, that taught him force healing. I think everyone knows the story. The wedding runs out of wine. I think in this case, the wine manager drank more than his fair share. Then Jesus turns water into better wine, so I'm gonna skip it, but boy, is the groom's voice actor something special. Take a listen.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. Let's go try it.
I actually don't remember this next story, but a royal official who wears way too much skyliner comes to Jesus asking for him to help heal his son, and the voice actor sounds like he whispered his lines from across the room. You really have to strain to hear them.
Lord, I cower before you. My only son is...
Jesus agrees to heal the official's son. I like to imagine Jesus kind of stands there as his spirit flies to the boy's body to purge the coronavirus from him. This game is wild. Anyway, after confirming Jesus did heal his son, the official believes he is the Lord and starts spreading his word. And that's when the demo ends. I'm gonna be real. This game is a mess, and not because of bugs. I only encountered maybe 2 bugs, and they were both at the end. The ideas and the concept are good, and that shines through, but the execution is sorely lacking. The game isn't fun. The only time I felt like I was playing was the tutorial and fighting Satan. Other than that, it was a Bible-themed walking simulator, and while the maps are beautiful, they feel like they're inhabited by inhuman monsters. This game has been in development for years. I know that because I've had my eye on it for years, and this is the first thing they've ever put out. It's set to be released in Q4 of this year, 2023. But if this is where they were in development when they released this in December of 2022, they're either going to release a horror game or have to push that date way back. I don't hate the game. In fact, I'm rooting for it. It's a neat idea that can teach the story of Jesus through interactivity. Something the church has always failed to do for me personally because I'm just being talked at. But turning this around in under a year? I mean, that would take a miracle? I don't have anything else to end this video with. If you celebrate it, Happy Easter!